Howdy, soldiers. I got a little clippy thing from a microphone, so fingers crossed this audio sounds okay. Before we get started, that's good. Cold coffee is for pleasure, hot coffee is for business. Let's go. If you don't know me, hi, I'm Rachel. As you can tell, I have red hair. I've been a redhead my whole life. No one else in my family, except for me, has a fire engine on their head, but somehow both of my parents had a recessive gene that gave me a mutation on the MC1R protein on chromosome 16 that affected the pigment in my skin and the pigment of my hair. That's right, bitch. You thought this was a book channel, but I know science. And besides being a redhead my entire life, I've been a reader my entire life, and I've noticed that there is a large spectrum of what it means when a character has red hair. When I started reading young adult novels around the mid to late 2000s, a lot of the main characters of those books were blonde. And if they had dark hair, that was like, ooh, they're so mysterious and cool. But not a lot of them had red hair, because even to this day, a lot of redhead characters are like the ones you make fun of because they're pale and freckly. I get it. I've been made fun of my whole life. I've just leaned into it now. I have one freckle for every soul that I've taken. Oh my god. Do you remember 2009? What a year that was. For the most part, when a character has red hair, that is author shorthand for making the main character quirky and different. So I thought it would be fun to do a ranking top tier showdown of all the redhead characters that I have read so far in my life. Of course, this isn't all of them, but these are the ones that I know of, that I've read, that I've liked. So without further ado, grab a drink, grab a snack, buckle in, and let's rank some redheads. So this is the tier list that I have made for us all today. Number 1 top tier is Crown of Fire. This is not a reference to anything other than the fact that I think it sounds cool, and that's like one of the best ways I've heard, you know, to describe a redhead, because I always got Carrot Top, Ginger. Oh my god, Ginger was my fucking personality from like 2010 to 2015. So Crown of Fire is the coolest option for saying that someone has orange hair growing out of their head. Although, if I do happen to snag any like cute firefighters of any gender, you know, I'm not gonna complain about that. Second up is Highway to Hell, because apparently all redheads are either vampires, witches, or demons, and we're all going to hell anyway. Might as well have some fun on the way there. This tier is not like any worse than Crown of Fire, but I feel like redheads do happen to fall into a couple of stereotypes. There's definitely like the badass redhead lady, so there's gonna be a couple of characters in here to talk about that definitely fit this criteria. Number 3 is Somehow Forgettable. These are the characters that have red hair, but I somehow forgot that they existed or forgot that they did have red hair. I'm memorable. I actually tried to do like background work and extra work because I live in a city where they film a lot of stuff, and no one will hire me for background work because my hair is too bright and I stand out too much from the background. So this category is for redheads that I forgot represented us. Number 4 is Not Like Other Redheads, because there, especially in the early 2000s, there are a bunch of characters that like have red hair because they're special and they're so quirky and like different than other girls. I mean, like, yeah, I'm different than other girls that I only have found one makeup brand that makes my color of foundation. Although, it is actually proven that redheads have different pain tolerances than other people, and I happen to have a very low pain tolerance. I say as I'm completely decked out in tattoos. Don't worry about it, moving on. And finally, number 5 is Please Dye Your Hair. Just, you're giving all of us a bad name. I need you to go down to the drugstore, go to CVS, or a Shoppers Drug Mart. I need you to buy some kind of box dye and get that cranberry noggin fixed and out of my sight. So, screen recording time. So number 1, obviously, has to be the redhead main character that I fell in love with first, and that is Clary from The City of Bones by Cassandra Clare. And right off the bat, I'm going to put her in Not Like Other Redheads. Clary was the first big redhead character of the 2000s. And one time, when I met Cassandra Clare in person at a book signing, she said that I look like how Clary looks in her head. So, confirmed canon, I look like Clary. And I absolutely will say that I think I would have done a better job than that actress in the terrible movie and the abysmal TV show. And I already wear a bunch of black and like have a bunch of knowledge on demon slaying and how to sling a sword around. So just saying, if there's any shadow hunters out there and you need a replacement for your girl, hit me up. I also don't have siblings, so that does solve that problem as well. The only reason I'm putting Clary and not like other redheads is because she really, like, throughout the series doesn't do that much, except sometimes she really does, and then she's very special for a variety of reasons. Next up is The Falconer by Elizabeth May, which is one of my all-time favorite fairy series, so obviously this is gonna go in Crown of Fire. If you want something that's akin to the world building of the fairy world of Cruel Prince, with like horrible fairies breaking loose and causing chaos, but you also want a badass main character who's like not taking shit from anybody and swinging swords around, I would highly recommend this series. It is about a girl in the 1600s in Edinburgh who has been training to kill fairies, and a seal on the fairy world has come undone and she's trying to stop it, along with, you know, a hot fae dude who I really, really like. Oh, now that I'm remembering this, there's a lot of trauma in the second book, just FYI. But if you've been here for a little while, you know that dark fairy books are my jam. They are right up my alley. They really float my boat, and the Falconer series is one that I don't see talked about very often, and Alina absolutely deserves the Crown of Fire tier. Next. Then we have Wylan from Six of Crows. Have you guys seen the new trailer for Shadow and Bone Season 2? I'm so excited! I don't know if the actor has red hair in the clips or not, but canonically, Wylan has red hair. So, where am I gonna put him? Oh, he doesn't really fit into any of these categories now that I think about it. Wylan is my sweet baby cinnamon roll that I would do anything for. He's not really, like, badass enough to have the Highway to Hell vibe about him. I guess I'll put him in Crown of Fire because I remember him. I love him so much. He's just a quieter character, so his accomplishments are not as flashy and bright as other characters are, and that's fine. You know, I love a soft, sensitive boy. That's okay. I love Wylan. I was debating putting this character in there because I don't like the Crescent City series by Sarah J. Maas, but I was like, you know what? Bryce is so well known that fine, I'll add her in. I'm gonna put her also in Not Like Other Redheads. I'm kind of mad about this one, honestly, because I mean, like, Sarah J. Maas is a terrible person, and her books are not great, but I was so excited to see the super feminine character, you know, kick ass and take names. But then everyone in the book slut-shamed her, and then she turned out to be this, like, super special character out of nowhere. And I don't think she's, like, taking away from Redhead canon, but I don't really think she's adding anything to it either. Okay, but you know who is getting a good rating? Gideon from Gideon the Ninth by Tamsin Muir. Highway to Hell, baby! I mean, obviously, come on, I put her in Crown of Fire, but Gideon heads the Highway to Hell chapter. I love Gideon. I was talking about this with a friend. I don't even really like Gideon, like, as a person, as a character, but the world and the universe that they're in is so unique that I love watching them react to stuff and how, like, nihilistic and brash they are. I mean, lesbian necromancers in space, like, you can't really go wrong. This book is intense, it is bloody, it is full of mean references. And Gideon's arms! Oh my god, have you seen the fan art of Gideon's arms? Woo! Thank you very much, fan artists. Next up is These Broken Stars by... who is this by? Is it Amy Kaufman and Megan Spooner? Oh my god, wow, I just had to dig into the recesses of my mind palace to get that name. I'm gonna put this in Somehow Forgettable. There was a phase in the, like, later 2000s of these, like, romance sci-fi books, and I didn't like any of them, but for some reason a lot of them had redheads. Lavender or Lilac, whatever, she's so boring. All I remember about this book is it's two kids, and they survive a ship crash on a planet, and then there's ghosts? Question mark? Also, why do you have a ball gown on in space? It's like a space gala? That's fun. Can I be invited to that? The fact that you are apparently super important to the story and I don't remember you at all, that's a big oof. That is a red flag about as red as your hair. Was that mean? I feel like that was a little mean, but those are my true feelings. Next up is The Midnight Girls by Alessia Jasenka. I love this sapphic Polish fantasy novel. So, oh, actually, what category does she go in? I think I'm gonna put her in Highway to Hell, because once again, she would, if she needed to, she would fight her way down into that afterlife and then also rip her way back up. Marinka and Zozia together are just so great. They have such a wonderful enemies to lovers plotline. They are literally fighting over the actual heart of a prince. The magic system is so neat, with their witches of different hours of the day. I mean, if anything, I'm a little upset that I don't have magic powers because I have red hair. I was like, if my literature that I've been consuming has told me anything, when I turn 12, 13, or 16, like something big's gonna happen, and here I am in 27, and so I think the ship has sailed by now. I love Marinka so much, so she's gonna go on Highway to Hell because damn, she deserves it. All right, now, Redheaded Stepchild by J. Wells. This is a fantastic paranormal adult series with vampires and werewolves and witches and demons, and it's vampire cabals, and our main character is an assassin. She's going to Highway to Hell, absolutely. She actually goes to hell at one point. I haven't talked about reading this series online for a little while, but this series has such good representation about like family trauma and breaking cycles of violence and like learning to bond with people and like overcoming your own insecurities about your past, and like how is this so good? Also, it's funny as hell. I love me a sassy demon sidekick and a hot mage boy, like who doesn't? Also in this world, all vampires have red hair, and the older the vampire is, the darker the hair, and humans who have red hair have some piece of vampire somewhere in their family line. So whose side is it from? I'm gonna have a talk with my parents next time I see them. So the next book might be a little controversial, a little spicy. I know that there are some die-hard Graceling stans out there. And don't get me wrong, I liked Graceling, thought it was good. I could not care less about Fire. I'm putting Fire into somehow forgettable. Now that I think back on it, I'm pretty sure Fire is like the most badass of all those characters. Doesn't she like discover a whole new realm and also like lose part of her hand and like shoots bows and arrows at like magical creatures? Like, I think she's badass. Kristen Cashore has a very particular writing style, and I think it worked for Graceling, but I don't think it worked for Fire or for Bitter Blue. Like, I didn't really like any of the companion novels, but I know she's coming out with a new one in the same world, so maybe I'll check that one out. Who knows? If Fire makes a cameo in that one, I'm not mad at it. Also, you have a redhead character and you name her Fire? Really? That's like naming a cat Whiskers. It's so boring and overdone and very, very obvious. Though on that note of naming conventions, I've noticed a lot of redheads are either named Rachel, Rebecca, or Taylor, so I can't really say anything because I am in that category of names. Next, we have Scarlet from the Marissa Meyer Lunar Chronicles series. This is the second book in that quartet that is about space werewolves. This one is my least favorite of the quartet, but I don't actively hate it, so I think I'm gonna put this in Not Like Other Redheads. And like, look, I'm not here to kink shame. I think everyone's entitled to do what they want to do with their lives and with their bodies, but I do find it a little bit weird that you still make out with him when he has a wolf jaw. You know what? It's okay. If Scarlet is a furry, it's fine. It's just not my thing, you know? And that's okay. Wolf is a good guy, sort of, I think, after they like mess with his brain chemistry a whole lot. That's a weird book now that I'm thinking about this. Oh my god. Didn't she have guns or swords or something? I think she was cool. So she's a fine redhead, whatever. She's not like other redheads. She dates wolves. Now we have another one of our gentleman characters. We're going to talk about Kel from A Darker Shade of Magic, who is one of my all-time favorites. I'm putting him in Crown of Fire. Blood magician who can travel between 4 alternate reality Londons. He's so freaking cool. He has red hair, he has an amazing coat, and I have an Avstravar's tattoo. So we're basically the same person. It's my favorite V.E. Schwab series. I love Kel and his relationship with Reese and his relationship with his adopted family and his other Antari and Lila. I love Lila. And in all the fan art, Kel is a very fine redheaded man. And I would date a redhead. Like, I would. I think it would be great. Although I have been on a date with a redhead and we got asked if we were sisters, so I can understand there might be a little bit of a weird thing. I'm not Clary, okay? At least there's that. I'm just saying, if Kel wanted to whisk me away into a different London with more magic, wouldn't say no. Our next redhead is perhaps the most supernatural of this list. That is Sarai from Strange to the Dreamer by Laini Taylor. I'm gonna put her straight up in Crown of Fire. Sarai is the daughter of the goddess of nightmares, and she controls moths and dreams in the city of Weep. She also has blue skin, which is cool. I happen to have a yellow undertone, but like all redheads are different. Strange the Dreamer is one of my all-time favorite books. It's so beautifully written. It's so full of books and dreams and gods. It's such a cool duology, and I also happen to have a tattoo on the back of my leg that is a moth that I named Sarai. If you ever need to know what books made an impact on me, just look at my tattoos. Tattoo tour in the tags. But how can I say she's not in the Crown of Fire category, right? She's a top-tier goddess, she's beautiful, and she and Laszlo together are just so sweet and wonderful and lovely. So she's in Crown of Fire. And now we have another dude. We're talking about Kvothe from Name of the Wind by Patrick Rothfuss. And truly, I have no idea where he's gonna go. I'm gonna put him in Not Like Other Redheads. If you're like me and you're a fan of Rothfuss's works, you know that we're probably never getting The Stone Door or whatever the third book of the trilogy is, because Pat just decided that he's not writing stuff anymore, and like, I guess I'll go fuck myself. But what I have learned from Kvothe for the first 2 books of the series is he tries hard, and I think he does have a good heart in there somewhere, but he does like to brag a lot. Literally for half of Wise Man's Fear, he just goes into a fairy world and like bangs the Seelie Queen for like 2 years or something like that, and then he just comes back and he's like, yeah, I just did that. I do love how much he loves music, and his struggles of being a university student, like, very relatable, but he does have a bit of a god complex, so I'm gonna put him in Not Like Other Redheads because he does seem to find himself very special. All right, moving right along, we have Aless from Bonecryer's Moon by Catherine Purdy. I'm going to put her... I didn't plan ahead. We're gonna put her in Highway to Hell. Yeah, that's fine. I don't dislike her, and she is very memorable. I like her a lot, and I love any book with bone magic in it, as most of you know. Oh my gosh, I'm wearing bones right now. Okay, hold on. Quick side note. Do you see this? You see this lovely pendant? This has rat bones in it. I got this from Lola So Bones. I will leave her shop in the description below. It's not sponsored. I just love her stuff, and I bought like a billion pieces of bone jewelry from her. The plot of Bonecryer's Moon is friggin' on a hunnet, and it's perfect for fall because it's about these magical nuns who have to kill animals and then wear their bones, and then they have to kill their true love to be able to ferry ghosts to the afterlife. What? Who thinks of that? But one of our main characters is the redhead Aless, and she is like the progeny of the, what do you call it when you got a bunch of nuns together? Monastery is for monks. The cloister? Is that right? I'm not religious. But she's pretty cool. She uses her surroundings to her advantage, tries to take care of her other friends, and she's fearless. Like, she's like, I'm gonna dive into that water and kill a shark! And you're like, hell yeah, bitch, you go do that. Oh boy, we have another romance sci-fi book. This is Across the Universe by Beth Revis. I'm also putting this in Somehow Forgettable because once again, I forgot this book existed until I typed into Google YA books with redhead protagonists and was like, oh my god, yeah, right. Her having red hair in this book is kind of important because she's been like cryogenically frozen on a ship, and like the ship has been in space for so many hundreds of years that everybody has started to look homogenous. And then she has red hair and like, ooh, so special and like weird and cool. Don't remember her doing anything. Like, I'm pretty sure she was very passive in this book, and if she wasn't, she didn't make a big enough impression for me to remember her. I do remember the ending of this book, and like, so sorry, girly, that you can't catch a break. But I didn't like this book very much, didn't like the love interest, didn't really care about this plotline of people in space. So next up is the reason I made the Not Like Other Redheads category, and that is Rachel Elizabeth Dare from Percy Jackson. Whoop. Now, this is not a hate video in the slightest. I love Rachel Elizabeth Dare. She's such a freaking cool redhead. She is the Oracle of Delphi. Delphi? And I really, really hope that she makes it into the new Percy Jackson TV series. I'm so excited for it. It looks like it's gonna be so good. And they're actually shooting in my home city because I live in Vancouver, which is Hollywood North. So I've seen some things. So hey there, Disney XX. If you need a redhead to cast, I know I'm like a decade and a half older than the people that you're going for. But if I do take my makeup off, I do look like I'm 16. So just something to consider. My business email is in the description below. I'm putting Rachel Elizabeth Dare in the Not Like Other Redheads category because, I mean, really, she isn't like any other redhead that I've ever met before. She has the full power and prophecy abilities of the god Apollo, and like that's not something that you see every day. I kind of want to put Rachel Elizabeth Dare in Crown of Fire just a little bit, but I'm gonna keep her in Not Like Other Redheads. And now we have another redhead Cassandra Clare character, and that is Cordelia from the Chain of Gold series. I'm definitely putting her in Highway to Hell. Really loving the Last Hours trilogy. It just harkens back to what I fell in love with Cassandra Clare books for, with the Infernal Devices and with the Mortal Instruments, and like the banter and the snark and some of the extra world building, the connections between characters, like the heartache and the yearning is so prevalent in that series. I love it so much. I think Cordelia is a great main character. You know what? I'm changing my mind. I'm putting her in Crown of Fire. There she goes. Yep, there she goes. You can't stop me. It's happened now. I mean, I could talk about how much I love Cordelia and James together, or how much I love Cordelia and Matthew together, but I think really Cortana and Cordelia are the ultimate dynamic duo. Next up, I have Eleanor and Park by Rainbow Rowell, and I know that, you know, rereading this book with a 2020s lens is not the greatest. There's a couple of issues in this book. I have not reread this for like a decade now. I'm gonna put this right into Somehow Forgettable. Eleanor having red hair in that book was a big symbol of her feeling uncomfortable and like she didn't fit into her life and that she felt different. And like, I mean, same. I was one of 2 redheads in my entire elementary school, but it's also a little annoying that, again, author shorthand for a character feeling out of place or feeling weird or different is just to give them red hair. And I'm like, I get it. Also, not every book can have a redhead main character. We are, in fact, only 2% of the world population. But did she have to have red hair to feel uncomfortable in her skin? I don't think so. Okay, we're getting spicy again. We're gonna talk about a book that a lot of people love, and I don't. That is Fable by Adrienne Young. I don't viscerally hate her enough to go and please dye her hair, but you know, maybe I'll put her in Somehow Forgettable. I'm gonna put her in Somehow Forgettable because I wanted this book to be like cool, piratey, you know, magical nonsense shenanigans, and I think I just got spoiled on that because I thought that it was magic and it wasn't. I also didn't like the love interest that much. I understand you are on an isolated island with a bunch of weird, scraggly old guys, and there's one hot dude who's like around your age. Obviously you're gonna get a crush on him, but at the same time, I fall in love with people who don't treat me like shit. So, yeah, I don't know. I know a lot of people like this. I just thought it was whatever. We finally made it to the one character who also inspired an entire row unto herself. It is Please Dye Your Hair. It is America from the Selection series by Kira Cass. America, sweetie, get the hell out of here. Was this series the original romance dystopian? Yes. But America Singer is insufferable, and I hate her. Oh, she's so frustrating. She's so annoying. I wish I could vote her off. She was also one of the first redhead characters that I ever read. So I had America or Clary, and between those 2 options, obviously I'm going to invest my entire personality in Clary. I'm just saying Maxim deserved better. And lastly, I think this is a pretty good one to end up with, and that is Cecily from Stolen Songbird by Danielle L. Jensen, and I'm gonna put her into Crown of Fire. Look at that, we're ending on a high note. Glad to see it. I love Danielle L. Jensen, and I know Stolen Songbird gets like a little bit of hype, but it should get more. It's a wonderful, vaguely Hades and Persephone retelling of like fairies and trolls under the mountain and breaking curses, and then later you get like witches. Our love interest, Tristan, is a dramatic ass bitch, but you know what? From one ex-theater kid to, I'm assuming, another, you know, I feel for him. Cecily is great. You know, she knows her circumstance and she's gonna make the best of her situation. She's gonna help the people that need it most. This is a great take on the soulmates or chosen ones trope, which I don't say a lot. It just merges a bunch of stuff I love together. You know, strong redheads, amazing love connections, Hades and Persephone retellings in general, fairy lore. So with that, I think we're done. So here we go. Here's our final ranking for all of the redhead characters of the books that I have read and enjoyed. Oh, this is fun. I haven't done a ranking video since my Hades and Persephone video, which was very fun and I loved. Oh, actually, now that I'm thinking about it, maybe I missed some characters. There must be at least one redhead Persephone, right? I feel like whatever. This video is already a week late. I'm not refilming it. Please leave down below your favorite books with redhead protagonists in them. Redheads tend to get the quirky best friend treatment, and like, fine, you know, I am the quirky best friend to other people. My only regret is that I am in fact not a witch, a vampire, or a demon that I know of yet. Video is a little late because I just started a new job, which is very fun, but also my brain is so tired because I'm learning so many new systems and all of them look exactly the same, but they're all very different. But now I have like an actual office all to myself. So that's fun. I can't wait to decorate with like a bunch of bookish related things. Okay, so because I was running an internet browser, a screen recording, and a voice recording, my laptop sounds like it's about to take flight and just launch itself into the atmosphere. So we're gonna wrap this up real quick and I'm gonna recharge this poor thing. You know where to click to like the video, you know where to click to subscribe. I hope you guys are having a nice day wherever you are, and I will see you all next week. Bye!